Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here in beautiful Venice. Maybe we could begin with a brief introduction to this incredible film, Gasoline Rainbow. What can people expect when they watch it?
Sure. I'm Bill. This is my brother Turner. We made Gasoline Rainbow. About 5 teenagers on a road trip from eastern Oregon to the coast. And things do not go as planned, but they find many things along the way. How's that?
Great. It's big and it's loud and it's beautiful and yeah.
I love what you were saying earlier about the kind of the backstory behind it. You know, you're in lockdown. We're all looking out the window, yearning for that freedom. But you are, even if when you're older, you think about that younger generation and how it would have felt to have been a teenager and trapped inside. And also this idea that perhaps when we were young, things were different, and how you were surprised when you brought on board this younger generation of people. Perhaps they were more optimistic and more open-minded than perhaps our generation was.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the story behind it.
Very much so. Yeah, because we were those kids and we did take trips like that. We grew up on Main Street with a window that overlooked it, and we always wondered what happened if you just kept going on that road. And that's the impetus for the film. But knowing that we're older now and maybe don't have the best perspective on the present generation, we wanted them to be able to speak for themselves. So yeah, that impetus is real. I think we would have approached it differently. We were maybe a little more delinquent, These kids were hopeful and they wanted to engage with others and discover and be open. And they were very available to the world in a way that is kind of amazing given, how much fear and division can be out there. That our generation actually felt more standoffish, and now these, while they're confronting all of this, are more open. It was a real discovery, very beautiful.
And there's something about the feel of the film which I actually thought was quite retro. So even though it's a new generation, we so associate that with being online, social media, all this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But because they're kind of going on this, adventure out in nature, it feels actually kind of disconnected. And sometimes it's only when some of the references come in that you realise you're in the present day, whether it's a song or like something they're talking about. Yeah. Did you take influence from like any other films? And what might have those been, those reference points?
One of the reasons we cast the kids was that they would give these little monologues about like, put your phone down, it's eating your brain, like, oh, okay, that was not, it's the reason we make films the way we do is like the discovery of it, like my perception of their age bracket, was completely turned upside down. So, they're on their phone plenty, but
while wearing a Nirvana t-shirt.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, when we first met them, they were like mostly not on their phones, and like, okay, we can work with this. But as far as film references, we were watching the Muppet movie is always a reference for every movie. What else were we watching? Streetwise, My Own Private Idaho.
Certainly went back and re-reviewed Easy Rider. But that was a portrait of its generation by its generation. It's just funny to look back through time and see each generation speak for itself, and then also know what they look like when they're older. Like now in our country, the baby boomer generation is also the generation that made Easy Rider, is also the present tense generation of wealth and consumerism and political division, and it's just wild to see that extrapolate over time. So. Yeah, this is their voice now. What will it look like in the future? And it was really revelatory for us because not only were they teaching us a lot about their generation and what it's creating, they were also really appreciative of ours. Mm-hmm. They were listening to music that we listened to, in the 80s and 90s, and it was relevant and new to them, not dusty and old. It wasn't like grandpa's music. It was like, wow, oh, you guys know Nirvana too? Yeah, they're awesome, man.
Why do you know Nirvana?
But they have access to everything, because of the internet and because of so much communication. Everything's so easy to share that there's all this information in their ether that they can access. Pretty interesting.
And the sort of the feel of the film is also very kind of kinetic, which seems to kind of reflect, what the kids are like. And I love the fact that, it wasn't scripted. You almost had the scenarios, took these 5 people that didn't even know each other before, hadn't even been in front of a camera before, and just kind of saw what happened on each day. So what was it like being on that shoot? And, how were you... Did you feel like you were taking a leap of faith and seeing how it came out? It must have been, even better than you might have expected.
Yeah, leap of faith, yes, every second. This could have derailed every minute of every day of the shoot for 6 weeks. So it is a major miracle that we are here right now. We started shooting the day that the mask mandate went down, and I think we wrapped shooting the day that it went back up. It was that moment in time, that summer where everybody was like, COVID's over. And so we were hoping to catch, we wanted the story to be about, searching or, discovery of, wanting to leave your home. But we thought we could, underline that by catching that wave of everyone leaving their house for the first time after COVID. And so it was this pretty wild summer that we were really chasing. There was this energy and enthusiasm, in the streets that the kids were encountering. And so we, maybe if there is a frenetic pace to it, we are really with the kids, trying to, to move. So, yeah, we really were just following them as they re-entered into the world. So.
Was there any moment which was a bit hairy, that we thought everyone was going to go wrong, or was it quite smooth sailing?
Yeah, every day. What was the... Every day was just absolutely... We would get to the end of the day and it would just be like, wow, okay, I guess that worked.
Dynamics of the group, weather, interacting with the rest of the world. When there was a day where it was 120 degrees and the kids' shoes were melting into the street, and we were shooting in real locations as well. With lots of random people, who could engage with them in any way that they might have, and you never know either, because we're not dictating what these kids say. There's no dialogue. There's an agenda, sort of, there's
no written dialogue.
There's no written dialogue. It's, not a silent film, but it's actually not at all a silent film. It's a lot of talking. But, we're creating these spaces, and we know the trajectory all together as a group, but within that, anything can happen, and did. And, there are no takes, there's no do-overs. We're setting the agenda and then saying we trust you and we love you and we'll take care of you, but we're out now, And it's up to Bill and I to be there with them. And all of that is their own authorship.
And I love the fact that, you do provide this sort of snapshot of America. You've got sort of the, being out in the broader landscapes, and then you take us into the city, and then also these characters that they meet along the way, all kind of sort of living on the margins, really. And but there's so much color, and there's so much is texture in that experience. So was that also important to you? This is like a vision of America as it is right now. And like you were saying, there's actually hope there. Perhaps the cynicism that we've been sort of born into is lifting a bit.
Yeah, those landscapes are a vehicle, certainly, for all of those thoughts, and all of that rides as an undercurrent underneath it. But we wanted the physical landscape the evolution of the physical landscape to also mirror the evolution of their emotional landscape. As they're going through this experience, they're getting further from home, they're meeting new people, they're going through something, so that by the time we arrive at the frontier, the edge, the end, they also emotionally have arrived there, and all these different, big backdrops of America, and hopefully also represents the diversity, the width and breadth of who each of these kids, are. And yes, there are mythical creatures out there, that can be encountered, and they often have wisdom, It's a shame that we cease to communicate with each other. It's amazing when we do.
And do you feel hope then for people coming of age right now? And it feels like that is, despite the fact, it's not ignoring the flaws that are out there. And, you know, a lot of the things that they come up, they speak about from their home lives often can be about, you know, unstable homes or people they know with addiction and things like that. But despite that, there's a drive to move forward in a positive way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the film is a testament to hope and possibility, and I hope that's the takeaway. You know, we're excited to share the film with people, and I hope that, you know, I hope people see themselves in it, and I hope there is a takeaway in a conversation.
Yes.
And finally, you know, being in Venice, especially with the kids, obviously they're a bit older now, and I guess they can reflect on their own experiences. They must feel like they've come out the other side of something, so it's a special moment.
And also their minds are blown.
Yeah, I mean, they got in last night, and immediately they were just replicating the end of the film. We were all just hugging and trying, like, I can't believe it. Oh my God. Yeah. So,
Okay.
it is a special moment.
Thanks so much for sharing all that with me.
Of
Really
course.
enjoy the rest of your time
Yes,
in
of
Venice.
course.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.